Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Welcome to Group 3 of Update 3 of the 2022 Project Orchids. Yes, that did come out right. Basically, this is the last part of Update 3, September's updates, and the whole Project Orchids will be put away after this and brought back out again in November. So this is the last one. A lot of people probably don't realise my videos may look as though I just stand there and they're done in one piece. There are some joins cleverly disguised. Unfortunately, the joins in this one will show. So we have this introduction, after which, let's get going. Okay, so as far as this one is concerned, what we were hoping for was for the new growths to push on and possibly bloom. Well, the new growths are pushing on, but they're not, I don't believe they're anywhere near mature enough to actually bloom yet. So we're still hoping on that front. Now, I did add some moss on. A lot of these roots were aerial and the plant wasn't hydrating as well as it should. So I've added some moss on the aerial roots above the plant and sort of down below as well. So it should hydrate better now. And as the new roots come out of these new growths, they'll have something to get into. So again, all I can hope from this is that the growths push on, the roots get going, and eventually we get some blooms, but we're obviously not there yet. Maybe coming soon, I don't know. We shall see. Well, having had most of the growing season now, we're into, well, very end of September, the last day of September in fact, only just. There's not much to say about this. All I can say is that the 3 new growths have matured, 2 of them very small bulbs and 1 of them not bad but not as big as some of the others, and I still see no signs of blooming. So there's nothing much more to say about this. That new growth on the right hand side there, the bulb there is not too far off the size of the others on the plant, those that were on it when I got it basically. The one in the middle there is immature, it's not full size, and this one over this side is not full size. So it's not growing as well as it should. But then I've had a very strange growing season, and that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to put it down to the fact it's had a change of environment. The season started all wrong this year in this place, and we'll just have to hope for better things next time round. New growths will start on this eventually, and let's hope we can push them on harder next time round. But I mean, the plant is okay. It's not like going downhill and dying or anything daft like that. But it's not blooming. And certainly these 2 little growths around here, they're not going to bloom. That one might do, but I don't know when the spikes come out on this. You know, do they come out like some Oncidium types, the spike comes out before the bulbs mature, and others the spike comes out later. On some it comes out as the new growths grow on the previous bulb. Anyway, it's doing okay, it's sort of all right, but it's not progressing at any great rate. So that's that one. Now, last time we looked at this one, we had some quite dramatic colour changes on the leaves, and I believe that was too much light. Now, I'm not sure how much recovery is going on here. Quite honestly, I think the light damage is probably going to lose those leaves. I'm not sure, but they don't look happy on the old canes. Now these were quite dark purple. They've got some of their green back, but they don't look happy. So the old part of the plant doesn't look happy at all. However, what we have got is 2 huge, strong new growths that are pushing on nicely. So maybe those two new growths are the future of the plant. This has been grown on from a seedling. You can see the seedling bulbs there. So obviously it's pushing on and trying to get up to complete maturity. I would suggest these latest two canes are probably going to be the size that they would get. In other words, the largest they're going to get. This was a previous growth, so that came up to a good size. But I am worried about the discoloration and once you feel the ribs on leaves, they're desiccating, so they're not hydrating properly. Now, I doubt if that's a root problem. I don't think it's a root problem. However, that pot is very dry at the moment and it's in growth mode. Yeah, so obviously as those roots are getting hydrated, an awful lot of that, especially if there's any feed in there, is going to go straight to those new growths. And this could be what's happening, is it's actually taking its strength from the old part of the plant. Yeah, so this, having had that big discussion about how strong feed should be, is a hybrid crossed back with a species, but nonetheless a hybrid. And if it's got that so-called hybrid vigour, then it needs more food. So I think in this case, this plant may be underfed. And if it's underfed, a lack of certain nutrients can cause purpling of the leaves and cause the plant to take in nutrients from the older part of the plant to support the new plant. So it is a feeding day tomorrow, and tomorrow, Saturday, I'm sorting out my plants into low feed and higher levels of feed, and this one will go into the higher level of feed as it's in serious growth mode. So you need to go careful with this, you know, oh, in the wild they wouldn't get much. This doesn't exist in the wild. And if it's got hybrid vigour, it's going to need and be able to utilise a higher level of food. So that one will get some food tomorrow. Once this happens, it's difficult to recover from it though, I will say that. Once it withdraws from the old part of the plant, it leaves the plant, the old part of the plant, in a state where it's probably not going to recover, even if it then gets the level of food that it requires. So all I can hope is that parts of the old part of the plant stop going downhill, and we'll see where we go with that. Still no blooms on this though, it's still never bloomed. We shall see. Now with this one, last time we looked, we had some issues with some of the older leaves on the plant, and we had some strange colours. A lot of that purplish has gone, it's actually disappeared. Some of the markings are still there, they're probably never going to change, but these are old leaves. I mean, this has been grown on from a seedling, progressively getting larger canes all the time. So some of these leaves are old, you know, I mean this is a small cane, so this is probably one of the older canes, again here. So those leaves will disappear eventually. Some of the larger old canes, like this one, it's still possible that that could bloom. But anyway, as far as our two new growths are concerned that we looked at last time round, those have reached their full size, the size they're going to be, and each has got 3 leaves. You can see the progression, 2 leaves until you get a larger, maturer cane, then you get 3. So I'm at the 3-leaf stage with both of these. These are both capable of blooming. Whether they will or not, we'll have to wait and see. So I'm just, that sheath was annoying me because it was hanging off. I'll do that in a minute. I've got to water these later anyway. But yes, these two new canes are both perfectly capable of blooming as far as their size and maturity is concerned. So that's all I can hope for with this, is to get some blooms. It's never bloomed for me, but it has grown to lovely, nice new growths this year. And if you look at the progression, that was the previous growth, that was the last one I grew, followed by this one, followed by this one. So they are still progressively getting bigger each time round. So hopefully we've reached blooming size now and we should get some blooms. It'd be interesting to see what they look like, because we haven't seen them yet. The last one in this group is the Oncidium chrysomorphum. This one, so far since I've had it, seems to have a strange habit. because after bulbs mature and after flowering, it seems to just sort of die back as far as the roots are concerned. And then as new growths push on, it grows a new set. So it seems to want to replace its roots frequently. So last time we looked at it, we had a new growth pushing on. That was this one. That's maturing. It's got its bulb now. I don't see any sign of a spike yet, but it's highly likely to bloom on that one. And now what we've got is another new growth coming over here. And again, that one is highly likely to bloom. But we still haven't got a massive outbreak of roots, but we have got some. So there's a lot more active roots in there than there was last time round. So it's coming on. I can't remember what time of year this one bloomed last time, but it does tend to bloom on virtually every growth it produces. It's done that so far, so I am expecting this bulb to bloom. It just hasn't started to spike yet, but it's still maturing. It hasn't fully matured, that bulb yet. And I think this one has actually bloomed, I think. Has it? Can't remember now. Did this one bloom? Yes, that one did bloom. So yes, so we're looking for this one to bloom, followed by that one quite a bit on further on. So that will be the hope for that, would be to see some blooms again. Massive spikes, branch spikes with many blooms, but they're tiny. They are fragrant as well. So hopefully we'll see those in the not too distant future, but the spikes take a long time to grow. So even if there was a spike showing on this, we'd be a long way off seeing the blooms. So that's the last one in group 3 and the last one in update 2. So now we look forward to update 3 in September time. Now this one hasn't actually done much since we last saw it. There's a little bit going on that's not necessarily obvious, but the new growth hasn't pushed on that well. But this growth over here, the one that hasn't actually bloomed, has actually increased in size and matured quite nicely. So that bulb is now blooming size and may well do so. We've got the root system back again, so that's good, but the new growth hasn't progressed as well as I would have expected for the time of year. Anyway, it's doing okay. You know, as a species, they're not going to be as vigorous as some of the hybrids. So, you know, that's just the way it is. And all I can expect from this is some blooms at some time. Hopefully from this bulb. Now it's matured. Now that was a little unexpected because the bulb carried on swelling after I thought it had finished. So it's actually now a good sized bulb. So it's plenty big enough to bloom, and all I can hope is that the new growth pushes on to full size, because it almost looks as though it's stalled, quite honestly. So we'll see how that one goes. Now that's the last one in the group and the last one in update 3. So there we go, that's the end of part 3, update 3. And as I was saying at the beginning, this video is done in lots of bits. You've obviously got an introduction, which is done at one point. That's a little video on its own, in actual fact. Then we've got the 3 video clips of the 3 plants as they were in July. Those are individual clips that are not necessarily filmed together, but they are mainly because I have to get the black stuff out, yeah, to make it look pretty and all that. So those are done. And then the 3 clips of the plants as they are now in September, they're filmed entirely separately. And then right at the end we do the closing video clip. And all of those get put together in a nice seamless video. Most of the time. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this format. As I said, it's a lot easier for me to do than previous years, and I enjoy doing them. They don't get the high view count that I would like, but nonetheless the people that watch them enjoy them, so they're worth doing. And I'll remind you again, those of you that are still here at the end, when we bring this lot back out again in November, the format will be totally different. we will be doing one plant at a time, not 3 groups of 3. And for each plant, we will bring out all the clips. So we will go back to the initial look. Yeah? Update 1, update 2, this update 3, and what the plant looks like in November, and we will do that for each individual plant, so that will effectively be 9 individual videos. They probably won't all come out in November, they will roll on into December, otherwise they'll be too close together. But they will be quite a good reference point for anybody who looks up on the internet or on YouTube that individual plant name, because hopefully it would pull up my video, and then you actually get all those clips stringed together as a single video all about that plant and its progress and my thoughts about care and, you know, what I would expect from that plant to happen over a growing season. And I think those 9 individual videos might be quite useful. Okay, it's only 9 individual plants. Excuse me, but you can relate. You know, like if one was a cattleya, for instance, a lot of what would be said about that cattleya would be true about many other cattleyas. So hopefully they will be useful videos and a totally different format to anything I've ever done before. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, thanks for dropping by. Hope you've enjoyed this, and we'll rejoin the 2022 Project Orchids in November. See you then.